Hi, I'm Blake Attoe, and this is Waupaca Local Live.
Stayed up late last night with a bottle in my hand. No reason, so don't ask me why. Just that kind of day, and I don't seem to mind. Grab me a bag of ice, man, for some whiskey, right? Yeah, in the back of my mind, there's a way to escape. The liquid got hands hold of me, and now this is my fate. Tearing a hole in me again, it just can't seem to end. The destructive wave that leaves me broke down and out. I don't think I'll come back from these childish mistakes. Drowning in a liquid crime, despite what's at stake. Yeah, in the back of my mind, there's a way to escape. The liquid got hands hold of me, and now this is my fate. And I just can't seem to get off of my mind this mess, no matter how much I try. I just keep repeating and asking why, why. Oh, in the back of my mind, there's a way to escape. Liquid got hands hold of me, and now this is my fate. This is my fate.
Welcome to Waupaca Local Live, and I'm here in the studio. My name is Marcy Boku, and I've got my lovely co-host,
Deborah Gerke.
Debbie Gerke. And tonight we're really excited because we have somebody who is from Waupaca, and his name is Blake Attoe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing, Blake?
I'm doing good.
That song was great.
Oh, thank you.
I don't even know what to say. The guitar playing is amazing.
It blows my mind.
Amazing. So we got to do a little demographic stuff here. Tell everybody from our audience who you are, where you're from. So you're Blake Attoe. You are from Waupaca, playing the guitar, and you are doing original music.
Yeah, all originally, yeah.
All original music. Okay.
That's super important to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
cool.
And
You
those are our demographics.
born and
right?
raised here?
Yeah, born and raised here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And living here now, and you told us before the show that you're going to be moving to
Appleton, yeah,
Appleton?
temporarily.
Okay. All right. So
What's
there's our-
taking you all the way to Appleton?
School. I'm enrolled in a university, so I'll be a student for a little bit there.
All right. And where else do you live temporarily from time to time?
No, you do. Come on.
I spent some time overseas. I just got back from Japan in, let's see, end of November. So.
Okay.
And that was my second year doing that.
All right, that's awesome. You tell us a little bit about a program that you're working with there?
Yeah, I work, it's a conversational English program, and it's with high school students. It's, like I mentioned before, it's a really rewarding experience. The students are extremely intelligent, and it's an honor to be able to speak with them and help them develop their English skills.
That's cool. So do you ever do any music over there?
Yeah, actually,
Do you bring your guitar with you when you go to Japan?
Well, I bought one when I was there, and
Oh.
the last time I was there, I recorded an album with a Japanese artist and one of my friends who's actually from Chicago. So it was a
Wow.
pretty interesting experience. You go into this studio and everything's all set up, and you can rent equipment or bring your own, and then they record it for you for a pretty reasonable price. I think it was like $30 equivalent US. So
Wow, for the whole thing?
yeah, for a three-track EP.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
So the music that you recorded, was it your original music? Was it something that you wrote with your friend?
Yeah, it was our original music that we kind of wrote very quickly, actually. So it was a really good experience.
Is that how music creation goes for you? Is it quick, like when you're feeling a song coming on, is it fast and furious, or is it like parts of it come in and you gel with it and sit with it for a bit?
Well, actually, an example would be one of the songs I'm playing tonight. I've been working on it for 6 years,
Okay.
whereas the song I just played, I made a few months ago.
Wow.
So
So it's a
what-
variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of the song that you played first on the show tonight?
that song was titled "The Liquid Chain."
The Liquid Chain. And what's the topic matter?
So it's actually about a few of my friends who have struggled with drinking and just struggling in general with just addictions. And
Okay.
the narrative through this song is basically talking about how wanting to find a way to change your habits and to grow as a person and not be tied down by something so frivolous.
You know what? I'm just going to bring this up because this is not the first time that topic has come up with our show with
Sure, yeah.
musicians, and I'm sure it's not isolated to Waupaca, but you know this is Waupaca Local Live, and so we do have a lot of people from the area that talk about addiction. What's your feel on it? You're a younger guy. You've grown up in this town, and that's, you know, the last 10 years have been rough in Waupaca. Want to just talk a little bit about your take on the problem, not to get too much off topic?
Sure. I guess I feel empathy towards I've had people very close to me that have gotten into some really bad things, and
Right.
you know, it's a shame when you have to cut ties with those people because of their life choices. But I've seen brilliant people go from, you know, being stable and financially sound to having nothing.
Wow.
You know, in a pretty short period of time. So I think it affects a lot of people in a similar way. You know, whether it be the person who's just the bystander or the actual person who's having the issue.
So how does music play into any of this, if it does at all?
Well, in rock and roll, I think those things have always gone hand in hand, unfortunately, and I don't think they need to. For example, Eric Clapton, he's a sober guy, so you know, a lot of great musicians were. I think it's kind of a bad thing to project within tying it to music, because drugs and music don't have to be related at all.
Right.
You know, especially to be creative, you don't need drugs to be creative. That's just some people's choices.
Okay.
Do you feel like music is cathartic for you?
Yeah.
Healing for you?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's definitely something to put my thoughts into, I'd say.
Well, that's kind of what, you know, full circle with this conversation. You know, you're
Right.
writing a song about addiction, and maybe that's why people make the connection, because there's so many songs about addiction. But I think it's part of our culture, my personal feeling. And,
Yeah.
you know, we definitely have our issues in Waupaca. So, yeah, it's nice that you have that medium to express that with.
Yeah.
And speaking of your medium, you have a really nice guitar. Is this the guitar that you're playing? Is that the one you got in Japan?
No, actually, I'd like to thank a friend of mine, Jeremy. He was kind enough to let me use it for this session.
Oh, okay. So this isn't your guitar.
No, this isn't, but it's a beautiful guitar. I love playing Martins and Taylors and pretty much anything I can get my hands on.
Okay.
I actually keep count of every guitar I've ever played.
You do?
I almost remember all their names. I try to make a list.
Oh,
of it.
that's incredible.
That's cool.
So, do you know how big the list is?
Yeah, with that one, it's at 467.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So
467
That's
guitars.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. And you've been playing guitar for how many years? We'll talk more about this after your next song. but-
Yeah.
15 years, give
Wow.
or take some time.
So, when did you start making the list?
Unintentionally, right when I started
You
playing.
did.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Very cool. Is it time for another song?
I think we should
feel like
have
it
another
could be.
song. What do you think, audience? All right, let's
All
have
right.
another song from Blake Attoe,
Yes.
Waupaca Local Live.
I think we are.
Uliczkaci Gąbej Uliczkaci Gąbejo I've lived my whole life inside a shell, knowing little of the world. Each day questioning what I have known. Just realize information is your home. Uliczkaci Gąbej Uliczkaci Gąbejo Gąbej. Now I've gotten myself into a mess. Not sure if I could escape from this. Don't push it away. Don't numb yourself. It's all a part of who we are, and it's just a test. Oh, raise your glass, raise it high. No matter how much we try, just a simple way to numb your pain inside. Oh, each day question why, questioning. Now I've got myself into a mess. Not sure if I could escape from this. Don't push it away. Don't numb yourself. It's all a part of who we are, and it's just a test. Now I've gotten myself into a mess. Not sure if I could escape from this. Don't push it away. Don't numb yourself. It's all a part of who we are, and it's just a tale. Uliczkaci Gąbej Uliczkaci Gąbejo.
This is Waupaca Local Live, and we are here in the studio live with Blake Attoe. That was amazing. What a great song.
That song, the guitar playing, that had like a flamenco influence. At least I think it did.
So the story behind that one is when I was in Seoul, South Korea, about maybe 5 years ago now, I met a street musician, and he was the most incredible musician to this day I've ever met in my life.
Really?
And I just wandered around Seoul and found this little city within a city called Hongdae, and it's a college town. And I saw this guy, and he was actually like repairing one of his pickups. And to jump through the story, make it quicker, he played fingerstyle. So that was basically all he'd do. He wouldn't strum really. And I watched a few of his techniques, and then as well as another one of my friends of mine who's been to Spain, and I've watched him play. I just
There you go.
That influence.
started getting influenced by that style. And
Okay.
Rodrigo y Gabriela is another group I really enjoy, and they do kind of like this fusion of like flamenco style with kind of
Okay.
like metal aspects to it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that was a very cool blend. So when you say finger style, do you mean you're actually hammering on the neck to get some of the notes out as well as picking the strings?
No picking.
No picking.
Just like
so
this.
it's
I was
all
noticing that. Yeah.
it's all on the neck, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So you're alternating that, and then you come into some strumming, right? You're
Yeah,
alternating
with that one, yeah.
Okay. It's cool that you can do that with an acoustic instrument and still hear it.
I actually prefer doing a lot of these things on acoustic. I've played electric for years, but the more I get to know about the acoustic instrument, it's almost like it's a different instrument to me because of the things that you can do with it.
So let's go back to your influences then and your learning process. So you said you've been playing music for 15 years. And so where did you get your first guitar? Did you say, I want a guitar, and somebody gave it to you? Or tell us about that first
Do you
playing
remember all the way back
experience.
460?
Yeah, guitar number one.
We've got a lot of time. We're just going to sit back, and you're going to tell us about each one of those
Yeah.
guitars. Wouldn't that be, I would actually love to
Those
hear
are
the
just
stories.
guitars I've played,
I
actually.
know.
So
Okay.
I've owned about 20 throughout my life.
And that's not included in the four?
No. Those are just random ones I picked up and played, and
Okay.
and I do that for the purpose of taking notes on the model and which one really spoke to me. You know, because
You're pretty obsessed with guitars, I would say.
And technique, right? I mean, you're very, I mean, it's beautiful, the flow, and I don't know how to, I
Yeah.
can play like 3 chords on a guitar. So for me, watching you play is, I mean, that is beautiful in and of itself. Just
you.
watching the way that your body
Yeah.
is with the instrument is crazy
Well,
awesome.
and it's definitely different. And we've had a lot of musicians on the show, and everybody expresses something different. You're
Yeah.
just completely unique.
Yes.
Okay, but
But
get
let's
back
get
to
back- yeah, let's get
tell
back
us
to
about
that.
that first experience.
So my first instrument actually was drums, and it wasn't guitar,
Okay.
which I got both my drums and my first guitar, which was a Washburn X series, the Anarchy edition. They made like a few thousand runs of it. It's actually kind of a rare guitar now. And I got both of those from Chain Link's Guitar, which unfortunately is no longer around.
Right.
Rob's an
That was
excellent man. So
down Main Street.
yeah,
Right.
and he himself, Rob, actually taught me a lot about music gear and you know, what was good, what was bad. So
Okay.
it's definitely. I think if it would have been from any other local merchant or even just any store, I wouldn't have gotten as much out of it as I got from Rob. So
Okay. So did you purchase it on your own, or did your parents buy it for you?
My parents got my
Okay.
first guitar.
And how old were you?
I was 14 when
Okay.
I got my first guitar.
You wanted to play the guitar, and you said, "Can I get a guitar?" And
Yeah, I was
then what
I was
happened?
fortunate to be able
you know,
to get
because
one.
I know that you told us before the show that you really didn't have much for lessons. You were more of a self-taught musician. So
Yeah.
what'd you do when you got home with that thing?
I mean, right from the beginning,
was a
you were
mess.
self-taught?
Yeah, right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
So
So your parents got you a guitar, but they're like, you're on your own.
Yeah. Oh, no, well, they got me one lesson
Okay.
a while later, like maybe like a year or
Right.
so later.
But to be fair to his parents, there's really a severe lack of music teachers in our town,
Yeah.
which is a whole nother. We could do a show on
I'm not picking
that.
on his parents.
Yeah.
I just think it's super cool. Like, here you
Yeah.
go. Here's a
So
guitar.
he had
See
to
what
do
you
it.
can do.
I guess I was fortunate enough to be surrounded by a lot of musicians growing up. Probably one of the local ones who inspired me the most. I don't know if I should say his last name, so I'll just say Mark. He's a blues musician, and the first time I actually learned to hammer on was from watching him.
Okay.
And I just watched the way he played, and from then on started developing from watching other musicians. So,
But how did you go watch live music when you're 15?
he was actually so one of my good friends. It was his father,
Oh,
and he
okay.
would play at his house.
Okay.
And then I had a collective group of friends that all were trying to learn the guitar at the same time.
Right.
So we'd all get together, and we all had very different styles. I played more of a bluesy sound at first, and they were into really heavy metal. So,
Yeah.
I learned techniques from them, and
Are you still in touch with any of them?
not so much anymore, unfortunately. A lot of them moved away.
Yeah.
Pretty far.
So you played.
You should have a
At home?
reunion gig. Bring everybody back together, see who's
That
still
would be
playing.
really interesting. Yeah.
Then when did the songwriting start?
Pretty much right away.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. One of my biggest inspirations when I was just starting, it's now changed drastically, but Rage Against the Machine was the reason I got into music.
Okay.
And the White Stripes. To this day, I still really appreciate the White Stripes. I've listened to every album, start to finish, and it's really, really good music. And then, as well as the '90s grunge bands, of course.
Right.
I really liked those.
When you're writing music, what comes in first for you? Do you hear the music? Do you hear the lyrics? Do you hear them simultaneously?
It depends on the song. It's all dependent on, this song. So, for instance, one song I'll almost hear it right away. I'll hear what I want for the lyrics, or have a general idea. Other songs I'll develop the song first, and then
On the guitar.
repetitively
Playing.
play the riff until I get the lyrics out. So it's all case by case.
Yeah.
Case by case.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
What inspires your creativity? To write, what makes you feel like there's a song that you know is going to come?
I watched this interview, let's see, this must have been a few years ago now, like 4 years ago. And one of my favorite guitar players, he said, every time that something comes to you, record it, even if it doesn't seem like anything. It could turn into something. And so I guess every time that I would hear something, or I'd finish a film, or meet a person, I would try to write a song about the situation, or the, whatever it pertained to.
That's cool.
That's kind of it's a combination for you then of inspiration but also discipline, because that takes a little effort to do that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Helps to have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to play next?
So this next song is actually the song I've been working on for about 6 years now.
Ooh.
It's started out as one thing and developed into another. It's actually a play on words. The title is The Fall of Summer. So
Okay.
what this song, what I had an idea for it is, when seasons change, so do people's mentality sometimes, especially living in the Midwest. People are a little less active in the winter and a lot more active in the summer. But this was more about, I guess, internal struggles within, yourself, of riding that wave of life. You go from being, completely content to being discontent with your current situation, or, from mood changes or whatever it might be. Seasons, I guess, is like a metaphor, I guess, for feelings.
Sounds
And how you
great.
see yourself through the cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Like part of yourself has to inspire the next part of the cycle, right?
Yeah.
Or not,
Or at least take yourself out of,
right?
funk or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool,
Well, let's
let's
have
hear it.
another one. Blake Attoe,
Very
everybody.
good.
dress. The thought still clings to my mind. I've searched for an answer, for the cure to a disease within. And in the end, we will deny the pleasure of a pure light, all in the sake of treasure. The fall of summer has risen. Oh, lovely embrace that captivates the soul. I reach out to you, all heed my words. You choose which way you die. And seasons change from weird to strange. Don't falter, enjoy the way. A blackened gaze smolder. Why can't you even question authority? Are you that afraid? Oh, too long I've lived in the shadows, bittersweet home that very few escape. I'll dream wide awake and show you the way. Don't give in to such a disgrace as the evil of our race.
We are live in the studio tonight at Waupaca Local Live with Blake Attoe, and it's just been a pure pleasure. I feel like we're getting immersed in a totally different aspect of guitar playing with you here. And it makes me wonder, you know, where can people hear you other than tonight? I mean, we can keep rerunning the show, but what's going on? And we will. But what's going on with your music? What are you doing with your music? Not that you have to do anything, but just wondering.
So actually 6 years ago, I signed to a label based out of Rockford, and I produced an album with a record label that I don't want to talk about. But it was a great album, you know, especially as an introduction to like a professional realm of music. But since then, I haven't recorded anything besides this last go in Tokyo. But more recently, I've been thinking about getting together a set of maybe 5 songs and doing an EP.
Okay.
But I constantly am putting music onto my Facebook page, which is called Insono. And I believe Insono is Latin for sound or something similar to that.
Yeah, we were going to ask you about that because
Insono.
we were wondering if that's like the name of a future project, or
That's the plan.
Are you just putting your music on Facebook for now? That's what you're doing?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
I got a few offers from some friends to record an EP through them. So it's just a matter of choosing which one and making sure I have good enough material to be put out there.
Do you play with any other musicians ever, or are you a solo guy?
Yeah, actually, on a weekly basis, I'll play with a drummer from my old band.
Okay.
Him and I, we have a chemistry where we click really well.
Okay.
I can improvise things, and he just somehow he knows. He knows when I'm going to change. He knows, when down to even the style of riff I'm going to play. He's just played with me for so long that he really
Good intuitive connection.
Yeah, it's really nice. So
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and you do a lot of improv, don't you? Like, I was watching some of your videos and trying to understand, like, the basis of the creation. And, well, in some of your show notes, you talked about improv. And I'm guessing, just from watching the little bit that I did, that a piece comes in for you and then it continues to evolve and you continue to play
definitely.
with that, right?
Yeah, so the last song I played was based off of a scale called Phrygian Dominant.
Yeah, I watched this video, but I couldn't have, so thank you, say that again.
Yeah, Phrygian Dominant.
Okay.
And I originally learned Phrygian Dominant in the key of B. I'm not sure what this iteration is when it's on 6th fret, the capo. But so actually that song is structured from the scale, and I think that's why it flows so well together. And all these fancy little things that I put in there are honestly just playing off that scale.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the way that scale sounds, and it's probably one of my favorite things to do is practice scales.
Are there influences, like you talked about a little bit of Spanish influence, the Korean influence, are there other global influences that have impacted your playing?
Sure. There's a German guitarist, Yngwie Malmsteen. There's a few Japanese guitarists. I really don't limit myself of who I can be influenced by. I listen to everything from classical opera to death metal. So
I'm curious if you've listened to Indian classical music.
Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah.
I've just recently picked up my 4th instrument, and it's the Chinese bamboo flute ditsi.
Oh my gosh.
So I've been trying to learn that, and it's much different. So
But interestingly, the Indian way of learning music, even classical, is done by ear.
yeah.
And
It's
that's
pretty
how
cool.
you've trained yourself pretty much.
I've tried at least.
Yeah. So you said the 4th instrument you've picked up. So guitar and this flute, and what other instruments?
Drums and bass, and
Okay.
I play piano, but not very well.
Okay.
Well,
Just a very basic knowledge of it.
I think you could probably learn something from your daughter on that.
Oh, said the piano teacher. Somehow,
I always get the piano teaching
she always
topic in.
manages to somehow get the piano teacher,
Yep.
local piano teacher in Waupaca, Marcy. The kids love her, and she is an amazing teacher.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And as well as your family seems pretty musical as well. So
Yeah, we're kind of like the Von Trapps of Waupaca.
So what about other musical influences? I know there's some artists that have really influenced you over the years.
I say the most recent one, at least from the States, is an artist, Jeff Buckley. And from the first time that I heard him play, I just fell in love with his music. And unfortunately, he's one of those musicians I found after his death. But
What speaks to you in his music?
there's actually a line in his, I think it's the 7th song on his debut album, Grace. And she's a tear that hangs inside my soul forever. I'm not sure why that resonates with me so much. I guess it's that feeling of loss that he must have felt. But the song is just so gorgeous, and the way he sings is beautiful. The way he plays guitar is beautiful. He's just an all-around, I'd say, close to perfect musician. So for me, he's a big influence, as well as Mr. Big, believe it or not. I don't know if you've heard Mr. Big, but one of my favorite guitarists belonged to that band, Paul Gilbert, and then Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, in some cases Buckethead. But I have influences all over, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint them.
No, I
Mentioning
love
a lot
that.
of heavy hitters.
Yeah, especially Steve Vai, he's kind of helped my creation process. Just listening to his kind of take on music development and theory. He's a brilliant guitar player as well as composer. So,
Well, I just feel like we've almost had like a music theory discussion here tonight.
I
which
also
is
feel
awesome.
like these conversations, like our time is up way too quickly.
It is,
You're
it
a
is,
very
sadly.
interesting person to talk with about music, and I really appreciate everything that you've shared.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. So,
So we can find you on Facebook, and can you tell us again the name of your Facebook page?
Insono.
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 And is it linked off of your Blake Arashi page?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay.
But I don't think there are any other pages called that. So.
Okay, so Insono is where we can find you. I know you have a lot of videos there.
Yeah.
Do you have a YouTube channel that people can find? or-
That one I'm working on right now.
Okay.
I have music that I put up there, but it was mainly for the purpose of remembering it and then developing
Okay.
it.
So we can look to hear more from you in the future and keep tabs on you through Insono.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start setting up shows pretty soon again.
That would be awesome. There's places to play, and we hope that we can see you. So will you bill yourself as Insono or as Blake Attoe?
I haven't decided
You
yet.
haven't
I'm
decided?
not sure, yeah.
All right. Well, let us know. Keep us
You're definitely
connected on social media, and it's been a pleasure having you tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.
Huge
You're gonna-
gift to this area. I mean,
That's
Waupaca
right.
Local Live is all about featuring artists and musicians who inspire all of us to listen to music more and partake in music more, and maybe even inspire our own creativity toward becoming a musician or writing music. And so it's really beautiful when an artist can be here with us that exudes, like literally exudes the passion that you do in also such a calm way. You're like so zen. I love that. Like, it's beautiful. So thank you so much. Is there anything else you feel like you just really want to share before we hear your last song?
It'd probably be the guitarists who are starting out. It doesn't really matter what age you start, in my opinion, but not to get disheartened when you see someone. I've seen guitarists who just blew me away, and I was like, I'm never going to get there. And just pushing past that and kind of putting your mind out of it and looking at it and being like, well, I can. I just have to practice.
Right.
Practice is everything.
So your
Practice
fingers
is
didn't
everything.
always move
Right.
that quickly, like you had to break that
Right.
down and
Yeah.
take it in little bits.
And some of these things I would play literally for 10 minutes straight, just like a 2-second segment of them,
Okay.
to the point where I was like, okay, that sounds clean enough.
Nice.
All right. So your last song, you want to tell us a little bit about it before we sign off?
Yeah. So this last song is called "It's All Nothing," and it's kind of based, I guess, on the topic of the people just in general or in the music industry who are arrogant and obnoxious and are kind of leeches to people. They put people down. They have this kind of persona of "I'm better than you." I think it's pretty important to remember we're all people, and it doesn't matter what we do, we're still people,
Right.
and to be good to each other.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And one more song from Blake Attoe.
For 27, just 27 years, I've roamed this world, taking strides here in life, subject to arrogance, bald man, stupid man, puff out your chest and glow. Everyone, anyone can see through you. Throughout this life we meet vacuous people, tricking their way through everything they do. You patronize to identify such an imbecile, what you've always done. You're not fooling anyone this time. You're running around looking for handouts, sleazy, uneasy. Your stench lingers long after you've gone. You say please me, just please me. You're so self-obsessed. Everyone, yeah, anyone can see through you. Throughout this life we meet vacuous people, oh, tricking their way through everything they do. You patronize to identify what you've always done. You're not fooling anyone this time. Throughout this life we meet vacuous people, oh, tricking their way through everything they do. You patronize to identify such names, what you've always done. You're not fooling anyone this time.